Hello and welcome to the Mechanical Timepiece. My name's Rob. If it's your first time here, thanks very much for joining us. Today we'll be looking at another watch in full detail. Today it's the turn of this, which is the Steeldive 1970, a very popular watch on AliExpress. I think it's currently the second best-selling watch on AliExpress, actually, in terms of mechanical watches. So it'd be good to get this one in detail. I've had this one for a while now, probably a couple of months, 2.5 months. I've had this one. Been wearing it a lot, really actually quite like this one. It's not without its issues, but we'll go into that in the full detail, in the full review. Today's format will follow the usual specs and measurements, etc. And then we'll go on to good, bad and ugly, which are things I like, things I don't like, and just genuine problems, quality control issues with the watch. If you are tempted to pick one up off AliExpress, then you'll find an affiliate link in the description below. That will take you to the watch on AliExpress where you can pick it up for yourself. Doesn't cost you any more money, but the channel benefits. So if you are considering purchasing one, then maybe it'd be great if you could do it that way. All the money I make out of that, which is not very much, but it all goes straight back into buying more watches. If you like the way I've done the video, you'd like to see some more content, then please consider a subscription. That would be amazing. Getting some momentum now, so hopefully we can keep that going. So without further ado, let's get this one off the wrist and under the lights. Okay, so let's have a look at this Steeldive 1970 in some detail. Let's start off with some dimensions. So we have a diameter of this wider part of the case, 43.87 millimeters. A diameter of the bezel part of the face there is 41.46. We have a depth of 13.82 millimeters. And then we have, if you include the wide crown, it goes up to 47 millimeters. Lug to lug length 46.8 millimeters, and the lugs are 20 mil. Moving on to the case, we have 316L stainless steel throughout, a mixture of brushed and polished. You can see on the sides here, this soft rounded edge here is polished all the way around. You can see on this side as well, excuse the fingerprints. Let's get a cloth and you can get that polished and you can see that a bit better. You see that's a polished surface just there. But then you have circular brushing all the way around this face, and that's and then you have horizontal brushing on the back face there. You have crown at 4 o'clock on this particular one. 120 click unidirectional ceramic bezel, ceramic inside on the bezel, and we'll just try and get an audio there of the click. So listen to that. Quite a high pitch click. Quite a lot of resistance in this one actually. It does take a bit of a push and plays okay. Not too much play in that one. So let's get that back round again. Oh, it is really quite stiff, that one actually, I have to say. In terms of the back, case back, we have a stamped case back there. So you have the Steeldive logo, whatever that is supposed to be. Looks like a couple of tanks and some flippers and a mask. But it kind of looks like a weird sort of squashed frog at the same time. And then etched on the back, we have some writing there to 200 meter water resistance by Steeldive, all stainless steel. And then it gives you a clue as to the movement, which is an NH35 beating away in the back of this. Laser etching on the crown, not bad actually, not bad. And then the feel of this bezel is nice and secure. 200 meter water resistance as called out earlier on. So a close look at this dial then. So it's a flat black dial with applied indices throughout. Some slightly larger ones at 6 and 9, a double there at 12, with a printed minute track running around the outside. You also then have a date window at 3 o'clock, which is a small stainless steel window there with the number 10, just the date today, marked there. And then we have hands are fairly straightforward, nice simple straight hands with this sort of strange lollipop sort of traffic light system going on on the second hand there beating away. The loom on this one is a mixture of colours, I believe, so I'm going to turn the light off for a second and see if we can get a reasonable loom shot. Give me 1 second. So there we have green loom on the hands and blue loom on the bezel. The loom on the hands and the face is excellent. It really does last a long time. Around the bezel is not so good, but it makes it an interesting look. We move on to the movement. So as I mentioned, there's an NH35 beating away in the back of there. This one's running, you know, within tolerances. It's not amazing, but it's within the tolerances accepted by the what Seiko call out. No issues with that really. There is a quality control issue with this one, which I'll come on to later on. Let's have a quick look at the bracelet. So this one I ordered with the mesh bracelet. I think it looks quite cool. On that one, I will put it on wrist just to give you a quick look as to how that looks on my 7 and a bit inch wrist. So that's that one there on the mesh strap. Looks okay. I think it's looks a bit different. It's quite nice. You'll notice actually there, interestingly, when I put it on the wrist, how the sides are sort of scalloped and they're sort of curved upwards. It means that although this is a, you know, a 45 millimeter watch, it really doesn't wear. It doesn't feel like you're wearing that anywhere near. It feels like you're wearing a 38 mil watch quite easily. So it's very comfortable on the wrist. You can get when you curve your wrist, you really nothing digs in. Very comfortable. A relatively short lug to lug there, so it feels very comfortable on the wrist. Yeah. So moving back to this strap. We have this shark mesh strap throughout, pins in the end. One downside of this one, it's a simple stamped clasp. It's not amazing. It does the job. It's not overly secure. You know, I can pull it. You can pull this one open without using the buttons, which is a bit of a shame. And there's 3 little tiny bits of micro adjustment there. The issue I have with this strap is it's okay. It's not great. You know, the bracelet is all right, which kind of brings me on to where we tend to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly in these watches. So things I like about this watch, the design. I think, you know, it's a copy of it's a copy of the original Seiko one, but it's unusual, and you don't see many of them. And you know, you get a few comments, and people say, "Oh, that's quite nice. That's quite unusual. It looks nice." You know, it's well engineered, and it's a good design. No credit to Steeldive, all the credit to Seiko, but you know, that's the way it is. It wears very well, as I've just alluded to. It's very comfortable to wear. It's not particularly heavy, so it wears very well. It's very solidly made. The case is, you know, it feels like it feels like a decent chunk of metal. This watch cost me £72 delivered, and I think you get a lot. I think it's a lot of watch for the money. And it's very distinctive as well. Now, things I don't like about this one: the strap is the clasp, as I said, is a stamp clasp, so it's not great. It doesn't line up very well, particularly. But that can be changed. The issue I have with the strap is these mesh straps. In order to size them for your wrist, you have to cut the rows of links out, and you have to do that with a pair of wire cutters. So once you've taken those out, you can't then put them back. So once you've sized it to your wrist, there's only those 3 little tiny bits of micro adjust there. That's all you have for adjustment. You can't add a link in or take a link out. So that's a little frustrating, but it's by design. It's not a fault. It's just the way it's supposed to be. Now, quality control issues. We have a couple. So first things first, you'll notice on this nice piece of sapphire glass, which is beveled on the edge there. Didn't mention that earlier on. Now I'm going to turn this flat. The glass does not sit level. It's not in the case level. You can see it quite clearly there, actually. Bit frustrating. So that's the first quality control issue I have with this one. So while it's not massively noticeable, once you know it's there, you can't really not see it. The second issue I have now, this one, is if I get hold of this bezel, you can see it. You can hear it moving. there is quite a lot of up and down movement on this bezel. It rocks on the face. You can hear it clicking. I contacted Steeldive about this when I first got the watch, and they told me that was, I was very, very clear to them, and they told me that that was acceptable tolerance. I don't agree with that. I don't think that's good enough. I don't see why a bezel should be loose. Doesn't matter how much you pay for the watch. That's just a design. That's just bad craftsmanship, I'm afraid, in this one. Now, the other issue, which is very, very rare, and it's the first time I come across this. Now, this is an NH35 movement with the NH35A movement, apologies, with the date. Now, if I unscrew this screw down crown, because obviously it's 200 meter water resistance, if I unscrew it, now many of you will know, so if you just unscrew one of these watches and then the first pop will wind the movement. Yes? No. Nothing. Nothing at all. No resistance whatsoever. Nothing at all. If I pull it out to second point, I can adjust the date quite happily. See the date they're moving around. And if I pull it out again, we can do the time. But if I put it all the way, just click it all the way in there, where you would wind the watch, there is nothing. I'm not getting any. You cannot wind this watch. The only way to get it going is to give it a spin. So there is a problem with this NH35 movement. So not great there either. I haven't raised this one with Steeldive, but I will. I will probably send them this video as and when, and await some comments. So there you are. That is the Steeldive 1970. As I mentioned in the introduction, this is probably, I think this is the second most popular selling automatic watch on AliExpress now, with good reason. It's a nice thing, but I would hope that other ones are better made than the example I've got. Anyway, there you are. I hope you enjoyed the review, and yeah, we'll see you again. So, Steeldive 1970, done and dusted. Interesting watch, this one. Really well designed, not without quality control issues. Shame really, because it would have been an absolute belter if they'd have got that just right. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what you see, please consider giving us a thumbs up, maybe dropping a comment. Always welcome. I do read them all, so really, really appreciate that. I think we may be heading towards 500 subscribers now, so maybe we'll do a giveaway or something along those lines. I'm not sure which. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks very much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.